So there's never any time where I'm like scared to share something. I think that if something happens, I have to process it first before I write about it.
Definitely. I know your daughter is about to turn 2, like very, very soon. I mean, how are you feeling about entering into those dreaded, terrible 2s?
I mean, I think it's already a little bit started, but I'm excited. It's like so crazy. It just goes by so fast. And you're like, oh my gosh, like she's still a baby, but it's like, we're talking about schools and it's like, this is crazy. And so it's amazing. It's wild. I can't believe I have a 2-year-old. Like, that's just weird to think about, but she's such a good kid. She's really good. So she can have her moments of being in her 2s, but she's just such a joy. She's amazing.
I love it. What would you say is the best and most challenging thing about being a mom right now?
I think the most challenging thing about being a mom is really just the work-life balance. I mean, I've talked about that a lot. It hasn't changed. It's still the hardest thing for me. I work from home, so it's like, it is that it's so much easier to be like, oh, I just want to hang out with her. And then I'm like, but I've got work. And so the mom guilt is a real thing. But, it's just trying to find that balance, in life. And I think I'm starting to get, better with it. And I think when she starts school, I won't feel as like, oh, she's right there, so it'll maybe be a little bit easier, but yeah, that's been like the biggest challenge for me.
Definitely. It does get easier. I mean, who would you say, is your daughter more like you or more like your husband, or a mix of both?
She looks like my husband. Mm-hmm. I think her personality is definitely me, like for sure, like very opinionated and knows what she wants. And I'm like, yes, I'm staring at myself. Basically.
Right. You're like, right. You're like, when did you get so bossy?
Because I know what you're up to.
Right. You're like, when did you get so bossy? When did you start talking back to me? I can't believe this. I've created myself. Has your daughter watched
very sassy? Very
sassy. Has your daughter watched any of your TV shows or anything like that? I mean, I know she's obviously very young, but have you introduced her to anything yet?
No, I mean, she's definitely like seen some stuff in the past, like music stuff, but not really. I try to keep that separate. I don't know. I don't really sit around watching my own stuff. So it's like just not like the thing that she would be in. Like, I don't know, like it's just not in my mind, like to be like, let's watch me.
Right. Friday night movie. Let's watch me. Totally.
Yeah.
As a mom and having a busy schedule, it's very hard to get that me time that so many of us crave. I mean, what do you do for self-care? And when you get that time to yourself, what do you like to do?
Yeah, I mean, it's important for me to do self-care. I talk about it a lot on my platform, Frenchie, on just like my mental health and being in a good place, obviously, not only for me, but for my daughter and my husband. And so self-care is like a huge thing. At times I get very busy and I don't do like anything kind of for myself in that week. I can be like a little bit too, like I'm not sleeping well, or I'll get like some anxiety creep up. And so it's really like preventative stuff for me. But self-care, it's like the other day I was like, I just need to take a bath, like I'm like, I need a bath. It's been a long week. I've been working nonstop. And also Juju had a cold. And so it's like always hard when you have a sick baby. And so I was just like, I just need a bath. And I was like, I got in the bath and I was like, my back felt better. I slept better. It's just like those little things that are just so important. And meditation is another one for me that I do. And it's like, if I don't do it, in the mornings, like I can tend to, feel it during the days. Like I'll try to sneak it in wherever I can. It's hard, it's definitely hard, but I think that it's important to just choose those moments, just like this. It's like, honestly, it's exactly like this. It's choosing to do a plant-based meal. And so I think that for me, that's all a part of my self-care, kind of like for me, I'm on this like gut health journey. I talk a lot about it right now. And I think that's all encompassing. It's not just what we do to like our physical bodies, but like how we treat our insides, what we're eating. And I think it's just all important.
Definitely. I love your website. I love your platform. I think it's so fantastic. It really is. I mean, was there anything that you were hesitant about being so open and honest about your health? I know recently you opened up about dealing with alopecia, but was there anything, that you were maybe I don't want to share this?
No, because I dreamt of this platform for years. And when I would hike, it was a journey to get to doing it. And I think I had to go through that journey to be like, okay, well, you're going to be sharing stuff that you're not comfortable with, And I think once I decided to do that and make the decision to create a platform where we're connecting and all honest about what we're going through, it was like, I had to, so there's never any time where I'm like scared to share something. I think that if something happens, I have to process it first before I write about it. So there's like a little bit of like that timing, that kind of, but a lot of the stuff that I've written about, like I've dealt with alopecia since I was like in my 20s. So it's like I've dealt with it for a long time to be able to probably speak about it and like be comfortable about speaking about it. And so, yeah, I really don't have any hesitation. I think that to me, it's given me a bigger purpose in my life, what I'm doing with my platform. I love acting. I think it's so fun. I love entertaining people, but there's something about what I do with Frenchie that I feel like helps a lot more people. And I feel like I'm doing something that really matters.
Definitely. And I'm sure opening up about your alopecia definitely helped a lot of people. What was the type of response that you got from that? And like you said, you've been dealing with it for like 10 years. So why was now the time that you felt comfortable sharing it?
Now I felt was the time because I just had recently had a flare up of it. So, I was like, oh yeah, I have alopecia. So it was like something that I don't ever remember until I'm like in a really stressful time in my life. And then it's like really affects me. And so that's why I was open about talking about it. Cause I was going through, okay, like what do I normally do to like help this situation? And why did I get to that point of it affecting me again and cause it was like really behind my ear and like, on my lower hairline. And so I was just, I was using all these different tools. And so I was like, I thought it was important to share what has been helping me.
Yeah.
And so I think that was why the timing was important. But what was your other question about it?
What the response was like from everybody?
Yes, the response was amazing. I mean, I feel like there are so many people that also are going through it themselves. And, it's just obviously different levels of it as well. So I feel like people, like it was like one of like our big posts recently. And so I just felt really good that people were connecting with it. And then I started to see like other people, other magazines talking about it too. And I felt like that was really cool. And I just feel like it's important to talk about these things because we're all human and we all go through stuff. And not to make someone feel, I want to make someone feel less alone at home. So.
No, definitely. I love that your husband also launched a website as well. I think that is so fantastic, talking a lot about mental health, right? And I think that a lot of men don't talk a lot about that. So I think that's going to open up a great conversation. Is that something that the two of you, discuss? And, how do the two of you divvy up parenting responsibilities as well when you have so many different things going on?
Yeah, I mean, it's French. It lives on Frenchie. But we had discussed that probably like a year ago, that with the response of how great it was for Frenchie, that there really wasn't any kind of platform for men and how, just they suffer from mental health as well. And often don't really talk about it or have the place to talk about it. So he's been, sober for 16 years, and he's one of the biggest supporters of mine and also has helped me through my difficulties. And he knows so much about himself and so much about other people and his struggles. And he was excited to be really open about it. And I was just like, this is kind of like amazing, because Frenchie is based off my married name French. So it's like really comes from him. So I'm like, it kind of makes sense that you be creative director. And so it's not just going to be him, it's going to be a bunch of different men talking about, their struggles, just like Frenchie is like also different voices. But we're excited. And I mean, we both just obviously parenting is it's, it's an ever-changing experience. It's always like when you feel like you got it down, it's like something else comes up and you're like, this is new. So, we're both like really, obviously he's an amazing father. So it's just like, if I'm working, he's taking on more of the parent responsibilities. So, and then we also obviously have help too. So he still does composing, and he has a studio in the house, but yeah, it's basically, we both work out of the house, which is pretty wild. And so we kind of, it's all a balance. It's an everyday, like new, balance on what to do.
Right. Did you feel like you had to kind of rediscover your relationship once you had a child too? Because obviously it puts a lot of strain on a relationship, and you're like, we don't have time to do anything together anymore. So did you find ways
to make the time to do stuff? But I for sure think that like we went through we've never really fought in our relationship. We've been married for like 8 years. And so we never fought until we had a child. And I think it's just like the pressure and like just everything. And, my hormonal journey through postpartum. And so I think it's just definitely been something that no one has ever told me that side of it. Like they told me about like what to expect, and like you're reading books about like the baby, but like no one tells you about like your relationship part of like what that journey is going to be like. And so I think that was definitely shocking for the both of us, but we go to therapy. We do what we got to do.
Yeah, no, definitely. You have to do what you got to do, And I know that you are getting back into acting, right? You signed on for a new sitcom, Brutally Honest. I mean, what's it going to be like getting back into that? And have you started already?
It's definitely still in development.
Okay.
And so we're developing it still, and I'm excited. I think for me, just with acting right now, it's like I have so much on my plate with my company, with my being Frenchie company at Target. And so, and then like I'm also doing interior design now for like other people. So I just got hired for someone's home, which is such a wild passion project. But I think that, for acting, it was like, okay, if I'm going to go and like spend the time and take that time away from my child, like it has to be something I'm really passionate about. Mm-hmm. And I just felt like really excited about this show because it's exactly what I want to do and like what I feel like the next thing for me as an actor. So it's really nice to be developing something that's like based off of my life and based off of like what they don't talk about, when you have a child, and that like experience and that journey through like your relationship with your partner, your relationship with yourself, your relationship with your friends. So it really has been something that has been awesome, and I'm excited to see like where it goes.
Definitely. What would you say was the most shocking thing to you after you had your baby during your postpartum journey for you?
The most shocking thing is I think I just wasn't really prepared for like how like you really are grieving your old self. And I think that that no one really talked to me about that and prepared me for like, you're just going to be a completely different person. Like you can never go back to your old self, and you don't even know who you are. Like I've always known who I am in life, like since I was very young. Like I see it in my daughter. Like I always know what I wanted. I've always known like what I wanted to do. I never had that kind of like, graduate from high school and like, what do I do now? Like I was like, this is what I'm doing. I'm an actor. This is what I'm going to continue to do. So I really have never had that experience. And I feel like that experience came after I had my baby, where I was like, who am I? Like, who am I now? Like, just so much had changed in the world and being home a lot more. And like, so there was just so much that had changed that I was like, didn't really know who I was, and my journey of like finding who I am. And then obviously like I was working and creating, and like my line hadn't come out yet. So it's like, yeah, my life looks very different from what it did like 4 years ago, but it's also pretty amazing because this is something I've always wanted to do. And so I feel like it just took me a minute to get to that place of being like, oh yeah, this is who I am. And like, yeah, I'll never be that person, but like, I love who I am now. Like, and I have this amazing, child. And yeah, it's like, it's just an experience. I don't know if you can really explain it very well.
I agree. I totally understand, like being a mom of two, you're like, oh, I miss the days sometimes where you just get up and go and do whatever you need to do.
I don't even remember what me and my husband did on the weekends.
Right.
Like, what did we do? And he was like, I think we watched movies and hung out.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh wow. Yeah, that's like not what we do now. We're like
definitely not
sitting around, going to birthday parties.
Yeah, I know. It's nonstop. I mean, I'm sure you get this question all the time too, but do you guys want to expand your family more in the future?
I mean, I always don't like to look too far ahead. And like right now, I'm definitely not in that place where I'm like, I want another one. Like, I think we have our hands full with Jupiter, and like, just because also we're just really focused on work. Maybe when she goes to school, I'm like, I don't know. I honestly feel like I have a great child, and I'm like super grateful for that. And so, you know, a couple years ago, we weren't even thinking about being parents. So this is just like all new and still, you know, I think she's great right now. Like we're both not at the place to be like, let's have another one.
Totally. Yes. No, enjoy every single second of it, because it's, you know, like you said, it's a handful and every day is something different. I love that you have been so supportive of your best friend, Austin, during this incredible time in his career and in his life. I mean, what's it been like watching him kind of go through this? I love like the throwback videos that you posted where he was saying on the show, like, I'm going to win an Oscar one day. I mean, what's it been like watching him kind of have this monumental moment?
It's amazing. I mean, he's such an amazing actor, and he's worked really, really hard over years to get to where he is. I've seen it. I've seen his journey and his process. And I think that he is so deserving of it. You know, it's great to see someone set like, you know, this is what I want to do. This is the type of work I want to do. And to like see him do it, it's just really inspiring. And I'm like so happy for him. I think he's just amazing at what he does, and he's a good person. So I'm really happy for him. Yeah.
Was he just as shocked as you were to learn that you guys were related?
Yes. He was like, what? I was like, oh my gosh, it makes so much sense now. And now if you can't get a hold of him, I'm like, hello, it's your cousin. He's like,
you can't ignore me.
You can't ignore me, I'm your family.
Right. Is he like such like a great uncle to your daughter as well?
Yeah, I mean, obviously we haven't seen him because he's just been on like that crazy train of like press tour and like all of that stuff. But he has always taken the time, which I think is like the most important thing to me, to FaceTime, to be a part of her life in ways like he's always been able to do that. And I think that's something that has been really sweet. And, you know, basically like the day after I had her, he was like FaceTiming us in the hospital. And so even with his crazy schedule, he's always making the time. And I think that's just respectable.
Why has plant-based eating become so important to you?
Well, I've always loved plant-based eating because of what it stands for. I love being cruelty-free. I have a platform, Frenchie, which is all about living a cleaner lifestyle and a balanced one. I've had a journey through my life where I have been vegetarian and vegan at times. Because of dietary restrictions, I can't fully commit, but it's important for me to have plant-based meals throughout the week. And so I was excited to team up with Sweet Earth because I love their foods and it's so easy. I'm a busy person and a busy mom, and I'm not like a humongous cook. So it's just nice to have them in my freezer whenever I need it. And I just, love what it stands for. And I'm excited. I'm all about connecting with people and community. So there's a chance to do a hosting of this amazing veggiecomeback.com. You can enter to win a chance to come to LA and meet me. And I'm excited.
I love that so much. Was it difficult to make the transition to plant-based eating? Like you said before, like you can't fully commit to it, but was it hard for you to kind of make that transition early on?
No, I mean, I think that for me, it's just really finding the foods that you love. And it's always obviously like, I think more of a mental challenge than anything. But then once you just start replacing that protein, if you think of it as just being like, okay, replace my protein with a plant-based protein, it's very easy. Like Sweet Earth has a mindful chicken that it's like, if I'm going to do a chicken salad, I'll just put that chicken on my salad. And so I just feel like it's really just trying different things, different styles and the different flavors and seeing what works for you.
Definitely. I was going to ask, what is your favorite Sweet Earth food?
Definitely the mindful chicken, but they also have a big Sir burrito that's really good, and a pad thai bowl that I'm obsessed with. So
I love that. Are you implementing this type of diet for your daughter as well?
I am. Yes, definitely. I think that it's important to, like I say, just choose, one meal maybe a day, or even just like throughout the week, sprinkling in plant-based, meals. That's just important to do, I think, for environment. And so I definitely do that with Jupiter.
Definitely. Do you spend a lot of time in the kitchen together? Or are you starting to create those memories in the kitchen?
Yes. I mean, especially when it rains, there's not a lot to do. So it's like, let's go make some stuff.
Totally. I totally feel you on that one. I know. I have an almost 4-year-old and an almost 2-year-old as well. So it's like, what do we do when it rains? What do we do when it's cold? Let's go to the kitchen and bake something.
I know.
Well, Ashley, thank you so much. Congratulations on everything that you have going on. And I really appreciate your time.
Thank you so much.
All right. Take care.
Bye.
For more news, content, and exclusive interviews, make sure to hit the sub, like, and bell button down below and visit usmagazine.com.